Tech and clips.
Yeah. All right, guys. Today we are doing something different. Put this out there. I'm not really a sports person, but this was thrown at me. NHL highlights between Red Wings versus Flyers on April 2nd, 2026. That's just couple of weeks back. All right, let's watch this and share my thoughts about it. Let's go. First period.
Well, and you jump in the crowd as well. We're underway. Zegras will push the puck into the Detroit zone. John Gibson, the goaltender, will flip it to the veteran defenseman, Justin Falk, who was acquired at the trade deadline. Throws it out through center ice. Both teams' lineups are at the bottom of your screen. They are powered by Xfinity. The Red Wings have changed up their combinations, mainly because Tyler Clone, their coach, hasn't been terribly happy with their play in the last couple of games. Here's Forster moving in. Quick shot, and the save made by Gibson. Their last five. Here's Carl Grundstrom after this puck. Got it ahead, jumping out into Glendening, and a goal! Save, and then the rebound went up wide of the net, actually.
Something that used to be commonplace, and a good start for the Flyers. Good wall work here by Grundstrom to give Glendening this opportunity.
No.
Look at Gibson. It looked like he was guessing on that play. He was thinking high glove. He's so fortunate that stick was still in position. He's thinking high glove that Glendening's going to pull it and go up high, and Glendening tries to go five-hole.
Is it the keeper? Did a very good job of saving that.
Shot here is blocked. It'll go to the corner. Martone quickly back around for Konecny. The cycle game out to Sanheim. Across it goes Ristolainen. And now Barkey, but he lost it out to center. Back the other way goes Appleton for Detroit. He'll lay it off for Larkin. The shot and the save by Ersson. He sees the puck for the first time. And got it around to the other corner where Kopfer's waiting for it. Drops it off for Raymond. Raymond out to the point. Sider with a shot. That one batted at by Ersson. Goes up. Going across to Raymond. His pass handled by DeBrincat. Nice little slip to Larkin, who steps in front. Got off a weak backhander that Ersson's able to melt down, and then slips it down low. DeBrincat, who's been red hot. Back into the middle, Larkin.
Yeah.
And he blasted high, wide, bounced right back out in front.
It's in.
Save Ersson, rebound, cleared. In across the line. Tippett will maneuver it around behind the net. Zegras after it there. Tippett picks it up, centered, and went to the side of the net instead. Falk on a big hit. Dvorak there to keep that puck alive. Got it to Konecny. Konecny, high slot, Andre shot! Save! Gibson through the traffic made by Martone. Here's Martone trying to center that. Blocked off by Gibson. Martone gets it back. Takes a look with it. Fires! Save made. Rebound. Grundstrom poking away. Still loose. Now it comes back out to Kane.
Low there.
Power play on. The shot from Raymond blocked. Roll it around this way. They get it back out to Sider. Red Wings trying to get the elusive first goal for them. Kane into the middle, goes through for the shot, and they score!
It's in.
Alex DeBrincat.
Wow.
Hard to stop.
That was unexpected.
Goal, Rick Tocchet irate for the officials.
He didn't even see it coming.
DeBrincat's 38th goal of the year, his 79th point, which is a new career high, and it's 1-0 Detroit.
Yeah, let's go.
The Wings have a good power play, and they didn't convert on the first one. They had a couple of good looks. The slot has been open for them. Larkin on the first power play.
That was a good shot.
And on this one, it's DeBrincat here. You can see the weak side forward is concerned about the back door play. That leaves the slot open. Those are good.
Second period.
Let's go. More of that in them here tonight.
Ready to go. Second period. Even strength hockey. Flyers probably will get a power play or two here before this one's done. Alex DeBrincat right off the draw gets that shot save made. Rebound shot, Kopoff. There's another shot attempt from Kane from the angle was blocked by Sanheim. The Red Wings come out firing. Edmondson across for Falk. Around behind, DeBrincat could not knock that down. Tippett has to deal with Edmondson. Got it ahead to Sanheim. Travis Sanheim well over 9 minutes of ice time in that first period. One hands it towards Zegras. Zegras out for Tippett. Fan on the one-timer. Forster the shot. He's Welcome back, Tyson Forster. He ties it at 1.
Oh, guys.
That's how you make a return.
He ends up fanning on it. Good job here by Zegras to protect, get it to Tippett. Tippett fans on it, and it goes right to Forster. But after that, watch Forster backhand, forehand while moving backwards. Gets enough on it.
Run off the play by Bernard Docker. Puck comes back out, and now it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Ristolainen's gone. It's DeBrincat. DeBrincat giving room. DeBrincat the shot. Glove. Save Ersson. He keeps it in play. Connect. Drysdale stripped, and it's Comfer the other way. Comfer bearing in. Save Ersson. The puck goes behind the net, comes back out this way. Now Perron behind the cage to Raymond. Comfer knocked down by York, but Perron picks up the puck. Out to the point, Edvinsson. Edvinsson trying to get away from Barkey. Barkey trying to stay with the much bigger player. Edvinsson centers it in front. Bounce up a cover to Raymond, and he scores. Raymond ends up with
Red Wings on
basically
fire.
An empty net off the fortuitous bounce. And late in the second, the Red Wings take a 2-1 lead.
Allows the Red Wings to go the other way, and they never were able to exit their zone after that. Comfort able to get this puck off his skate to Raymond. I don't know that it was necessarily intentional. I think he might have been trying to go skate to stick, but it goes skate right to Raymond. No chance. I mean, he's...
Third period.
We'll be showing you the scores. The Flyers are getting some help again around the NHL. Ristolainen has trouble with that puck right off the draw. Travis Sanheim head up. Got it to Martone, but he could not get the puck deep. Digging it out of there is Konechny. Konechny's got Martone. Martone in and goal. The shot. Save Gibson.
To kind of loosen up that puck, Konechny finds Martone, and Martone tries to outweight Gibson. As Gibson moves from his left to his right, Martone tries to go back to the far side. But Gibson stops that movement and is able to make the save with his glove.
Johansson picks it off there. Pursued by Couturier. Got away from him, and he'll lob it out. Ristolainen knocks it down with his glove, but gets checked, and it's a 2-on-1 with Kane. Kane holds the shot. He scores. Rope-a-dope hockey at its best for the Red Wings. And Patrick Kane, the magician, makes it 3-1 Detroit.
In the neutral zone, Ristolainen tries to grab that puck, but as he grabs it, he gets pushed, and that's what he loses the leverage as he gets shoved by
Went
Cobb.
straight in.
Kane comes down the wing, and what a crafty shot that is. I mean, you got DeBrincat on the back door, so as a goalie, you got to be mindful of that. And
that's true.
Kane with his head up the whole way finds that spot.
There's plenty of time remaining, but they're in their own zone here. That puck deflects right across the blue.
3-1.
Konechny has it. Touch pass into the middle. Comes back to Martone. In across the line he goes. Sends it in front. They score!
Yeah!
It deflects and they're waving it off.
What?
They're waving it off.
What?
They're waving it off. Trevor Hansen immediately saying that that puck apparently is kicked in.
Let's take a look.
It's a beautiful shot. Deflection.
That's a goal.
Yeah, that's a goal.
Bernard Docker that trips up Konechny on the way in. That has to count. There's no way that goal cannot count. That contact happens after the puck gets by Gibson.
Well, the officials are discussing this as we look at the replays. They haven't made an announcement as to why it's not a goal yet.
No.
So they may change the call.
This should count.
But will he challenge it?
Yes, I think he will.
Counts.
We'll get more looks at this.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it's such a bang-bang play. They got to make a quick decision. I know I've been hard on them all night, but you got to make a decision in real time. So it's hard to make that determination. With the challenge, it allows them to get a second look at it. But either way, they could have called it a goal, and Todd McClellan could challenge it. So either way, it'll get rectified. I just don't see how this goal cannot count.
For two reasons, right? One, the puck's in before the contact.
I don't know too much about hockey, but I think this should
Konechny's
count.
allowed to drive the net. I mean,
all right, wasn't a long look. Here's the call from Trevor Hansen.
After the coach's challenge, the puck was in prior to the goaltender contact.
Yeah.
It is a 3-2 hockey game officially.
It should count.
Just about half a period to go. This place is rocking.
Whoa, this is...
Oh, Sanheim fans on this. Turns it over to Kane. Comes the shot. It goes wide. And then DeBrincat from the angle scores. Oh, my. Right back come the Red Wings. 15 seconds later.
Oh, man.
And it's 4-2 Detroit.
And Sanheim not able to corral this rolling puck. Looked like they got away with it on the miss by Kopp, but DeBrincat ever so crafty, able to just turn around and fling it towards the net. Yeah. Tough play for Sanheim because the puck is rolling. Whoa. He knows he's getting pressured. He's trying to make the right play off the wall.
2 seconds, one. They've set it in front. Martone. It's blocked off and cleared, and that's it. The Detroit Red Wings with a huge victory. John Gibson, tremendous, with 32 saves.
Okay. All right, guys. So that was NHL highlights, between Red Wings versus Flyers. Yeah, like I said from the beginning, this was thrown at me by one of my supporters on here, Daniel Villadu. Shout outs to you. And I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm not really, much of a, hockey person. I mean, where I'm from, Africa, we don't really play hockey. It doesn't even snow here. Like I said, there's nothing, ice hockey over here. So I mean, right from the jump, watching this, I could feel this isn't just a, casual, regular season, sort of game. There's a bit of urgency in every shift. Both Detroit Red Wings and Philadelphia Flyers, are playing like something, is on the line, and that tension definitely, carries through. The entire, highlight reel. I mean, it's one of those games to me. It's one of those games, where every mistake, feels, costly, and every single goal, hits harder than usual. What stood out to me watching this, is how quickly momentum swings. 1 minute in the Flyers, look in control, pushing, creating chances. The next minute, Red Wings, flip it, with a sharp, transition, and suddenly, they are celebrating. That back and forth definitely, gave the whole, video, a pulse. You're not just watching highlights. You are feeling the pressure. You're feeling the pressure build, with each sequence. Detroit, in particular, feels more clinical. They don't just waste many of their big chances. When they get a look, it's often turns into something dangerous immediately. The goals also don't feel random. They feel earned. Clean finishes, smart positioning, and a few moments where defensive breakdowns get punished instantly. And the saves, guys, quietly important. There are a couple of stops, that don't look flashy at first, but you realize, they are game-defining moments, in my opinion. Without them, this could have, flipped, the other way. So yeah, this isn't flashy, highlights, for the sake of highlights game. It's tight, it's competitive. A slightly gritty, very, end of season pressure, sort of energy. The Red Wings, just feel a bit more composed overall. Not necessarily dominant, but sharper. When it matters. Like I said, I'm not really a sports person, but I really enjoyed watching this. I feel like watching this. You come away, feeling like. Detroit knew exactly, what needed to be done, and they did it. Philadelphia, Philly, they had their moments, but couldn't, fully seize control. It's definitely the kind of game, where, the score line, 4-2, tells the truth, but doesn't fully capture, how tense, it felt throughout. I loved it. I can't believe I'm even talking hockey right now, but yeah, I really enjoyed the competitive nature, of the game. So, guys, shout out to Daniel. Let me know if you want me to, do this kind of content. If yes, please, send me some links, send me some suggestions, and I'll definitely, watch these games and share my thoughts about it. Yes. On to the next reaction. Take care. Stay safe. Peace out.